The Epstein story will not go away, no matter how hard Trump and his colonies are trying. Despite being a violent insurrectionist, a felon with 35 convictions for fraud and sexual assault, aka rape, a serial bankrupter, a cheater and liar who managed to put America's economy in a downward trajectory and severely damages US relationships with his most important allies, and on top of all that, has nothing to show for but broken promises. Despite of all that, Donald Trump's supporters remain loyal. Until now, at least. After Pam Bondi denied the existence of an Epstein list, it got heated between Trump's handpicked deputy FBI director Dan Bongino and Attorney General Pam Bondi. Trump tried to dodge responsibility, using a familiar tone by saying, "Oh, it's all the Democrats' fault, like Obama and Hillary Clinton. They are behind the Epstein files." Mind you, Epstein died in 2019, while Trump was still president. Trump's popularity with the Republican base isn't just because they personally like him, it's also tied to how incredibly bleak their view of the US government is. So why do they seem so eager to join Trump in his apparent effort to burn everything down? Well, I guess if you really believe that your government is full of people that are so corrupt and mean that you would even be involved in and covering up the abuse of children, then I assume you want to punish them as bad as possible. Remember?
By admitting that the Epstein files are real and have been written and that you've read them and you don't like their contents and they were written by your enemies, doesn't make the most compelling case as far as I'm concerned. Holy moly.
How many of you are satisfied? You can clap. Satisfied with the results of the Epstein investigation? Clap. Okay, I told you to clap. You guys aren't listening. I'm not going to grade you on a curve. So I was going to get to that. How many of you are not satisfied with the results of the investigation?
That Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go.
First of all, it should have come out a long time ago. Professor Dershowitz wanted it out. And by the way, he is one of the best attorneys in this country. I know him. I know his wife. That's a great family, and they've been dragged through hell on this. I want to know why AG Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight. You know, they're out there labeling parents domestic terrorists, yet they're saying nothing about this. And these documents were so slow to come out.
Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book.
FBI.
But who? That is that. I mean, there's.
That's under direct control of the director of the FBI. And to me, that's a thing I think President Trump should run on. On day one, roll out the Black Book.
And my personal favorites.
The largest scale pederast in human history.
Simple, because of who's on that list.
In this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability.
Even though the Trump administration hoped that the whole Epstein story would just slip everyone's memory and be forgotten for good, it did not quite happen that way. Even hardcore MAGAs are outraged over Trump administration's 180-degree turn, claiming now that there was never any Epstein list and no open questions will be answered. Just like that. And suddenly, the Epstein scandal has gained a new life. Erky Foster from the Daily Beast reported, after Maxwell, now 63, was arrested by the FBI in July 2020 for allegedly helping Epstein run his sex trafficking ring, luring and grooming young girls into a web of abuse, Trump grew very ornery and began asking, what could she say? What would she say? And then this.
That is happening right now. In an article that stunned me to my very core, ladies and gentlemen, this shocking exclusive from the Daily Mail, Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, will reveal the truth about the pedophile client list, says insiders.
Fact, I have seen, remember, I was accused falsely on the Epstein, and ultimately I was completely cleared. The woman admitted that she may have mistook me for somebody else and withdrew all of her lawsuits. And so from day one, from the day I was accused, I said I want every document out because I knew every document would prove I was innocent. So let me tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed. And they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. But I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them. And that's wrong.
I think it's fair to say that Trump is panicking, and rightly so.
Over the last few days, a number of members of your caucus have been posting and engaging in some of the discourse about Jeffrey Epstein. Is this appropriate for your members to be doing so? Do you want to see any action on that front?
The American people deserve to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it relates to this whole sordid Jeffrey Epstein matter. Democrats didn't put the Jeffrey Epstein thing into the public domain. This was a conspiracy that Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, and these MAGA extremists have been fanning the flames of for the last several years. And now the chickens are coming home to roost.
Well, we called for the release of the Epstein files in the Biden administration. We've been consistent all along in saying these should be opened up to the public. All of the charges against Epstein were dismissed after his death. Of course, his associate, Ms. Maxwell, was convicted on 5 charges. I do find myself, in the same camp as Dan Bongino and MAGA saying, let's release everything as Trump promised during the campaign. He didn't promise to throw 14 million people off of their Medicaid, but he did promise to release the Epstein tapes.
A clear sign that Trump feels the heat is this.
No, there is no client list. There never has been a client list. A client list suggests that Jeffrey Epstein made a list of people to whom he trafficked women. What there is a redacted FBI affidavit from accusers. There are several of them from accusers that accuse Jeffrey, that accuse various people of having improper sex. And
a new bombshell regarding disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein this morning. Axios obtained a memo from the DOJ that concludes Epstein did not have a client list and that he died by suicide.
The agencies also say they found no evidence that Epstein blackmailed powerful people. The memo indicates that the Trump administration will release video proof showing that nobody entered the area where Epstein was held on the night he died.
But Trump needed to make sure that the list really never gets out. And so he did. Well, for now at least.
Breaking news, the Republican-controlled House Rules Committee has just voted to block the release of the Epstein files. Joining us now, the member of Congress who forced that vote, Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna of California. Congressman, kind of give us the latest situation with the House Rules Committee.
Well, it's very disappointing. I had a very simple amendment that the full Epstein files should be released. It went for a vote to the House Rules Committee. Jim McGovern, who is the ranking member for House Democrats, made sure that all 4 Democrats voted for the release. Ralph Norman, a Republican, actually joined with the Democrats, saying that there should be a vote on the full release. Chip Roy didn't show up for the vote, but 7 other Republicans blocked it. So as of now, there is going to be no vote tomorrow, up or down vote on whether the Epstein files should be released.
And this was... The Republicans ensured the American people for years that they are committed to get to the ground of the Epstein case. If Trump gets into power in 2025, the Epstein files will be released. And now this. A surprise? No, not at all. Just the same old, same old. When the Republicans finally have a chance to vote their conscience, they quickly forget that they even have one and get in line behind Trump. Well, I have a feeling that despite best efforts on Trump's part, we have not heard the last about the Epstein files. And I think Jamin Raskin simply said it the best.
Let's release everything, as Trump promised during the campaign. He didn't promise to throw 14 million people off of their Medicaid, but he did promise to release the Epstein tapes.
Thanks for watching. See you next time, here on Europe Curious.